During my 12 years service as a judge, I always insisted on the truth and placed justice above law and order. If a lawyer and a judge both contend that I am crazy, then I must be crazy. They wouldn't lie to you? Or would they? Science has taught us that, for every action there is a positive reaction. If your life on Earth resembles a matrix, it is because you are seeing things for the first time, with eyes wide open, but you feel confused. My hope is to help you make sense of it all, which will require you to wash your mind clean of the brainwashing you were subjected to by our government-controlled public schools and churches, and re-educate yourself. When you understand the actions, the reactions will make sense, and it should anger you. Eventually, you will have a choice to make. A choice that will define how to survive life in the Matrix. In the Matrix, nothing is real. However, your mind has been conditioned to believe it is real. The Matrix is far too big to defeat. No one can escape it, and we haven't the means or intelligence to beat those in control. The people in charge of the Matrix represent the most powerful and intelligent humans on Earth. When gifted children appear in the public schools of the world, they are courted with scholarships, money, and eventually memberships into secret societies. They will be introduced to very persuasive intellectuals, who will convince these young gifted people that it is their place and duty to be a part of the elite who rule the world's population, because the rest of the world's population is too stupid to make decisions for themselves. When the New World Order is officially and openly in control, only the extremely intelligent will be allowed to propagate. Everyone else will be sterilized or murdered through staged pandemics, used to eliminate excessive populations. Every foreign revolution, the world wars, the Depression, Prohibition, Korea, Vietnam, the Middle East conflict, and the influenza epidemic during World War I were planned and orchestrated by these people. The Constitution of the United States was written in secret by the Founding Fathers and was never presented to the colonists for a vote. Surely, any document is important, as this demanded the approval of the people it governed. Well, it wasn't presented for a vote because the Constitution wasn't created for we the people. It was created by and for the Founding Fathers, their family, heirs, and their posterity. The Constitution is a business plan, and any reference contained within it that appears to be the safeguard of a right is there because none of the Founding Fathers trusted each other. The safeguards were intended to prevent anyone or group of them from cutting out the others, proving that there's no honor among thieves. When government shapes and controls a mind, it's called brainwashing. Brainwashing causes the subject to become functionally illiterate. In America, our functional ignorance excels in the areas of history, government, and law, which really are one and the same. 98% of the officials in public office are lawyers, and these so-called representatives set policy and create the laws that govern this society. Their use of Greek and Latin terms in law and the habit of changing definitions and usage of common words is intentional. The intent is to confound and confuse the general public and to hide the treason they are implementing, and so that members of the public are forced to hire a lawyer out of frustration, rather than try to represent themselves in our fictional courts of law. How many times in your life have you heard, "You can't practice law without a license"? I've heard it said in numerous movies spanning 100 years, in my mother's soaps, and by comedians and jokes, and in theatrical skits. I've seen the phrase in print and newspaper articles, magazines, and heard it on the radio. Before I learned the truth about this fact, even my personal lawyer made that comment to me. We all have been brainwashed to believe a lie, and because we've heard it so often from people we trust, and who are supposed to have our best interests at heart, we all just assume it must be true. How many other lies have you assumed must be true? So even though the Constitution was never designed or written for the sovereign American people, they unknowingly became the beneficiary of this secret trust, and hence, the creation of the propaganda regarding our constitutional rights. High-ranking public officials, lawyers, and judges laugh at the ignorance of people who claim that their constitutional rights have been violated. Lawyers are actually taught to treat the members of the general public as inferior individuals. This also explains the air of arrogance that most lawyers convey in their demeanor and speech. Are you a United States citizen? And everyone circles the yes answer. Didn't you? Now look up the definition of a United States citizen in a reputable law dictionary. You will discover that a United States citizen is a phrase designed to identify a corporate fiction. Clever, isn't it? You and every other American had no idea that you were admitting you were a corporate fiction when you circled that yes answer, and you did it under penalty of perjury. The police officer who arrests you has been brainwashed into believing that he is doing the right thing, when in fact he is nothing more than an armed slave acting as a henchman and hired to bully and intimidate all other slaves into submission of the master's will. The answer is that our masters and their government agents are quite full of themselves. They have intelligence, wealth, influence and absolute power and control over everything and everyone on this earth, but they are human and suffer the same common frailties that every powerful leader has endured since the beginning of time. Fame and the desire for recognition. They can't talk or brag about their conspiratorial accomplishments while they are alive, out of a fear of retaliation, which is in direct conflict with their human egos. So they are forced to settle for their accomplishments to be recorded in expectation that one day the matrix will be revealed and they will be recognized, revered and ogled by future generations of their kind.